Arcade1up is currently out at Vid Summit, a major convention for YouTube and other content creators, and they dropped a major announcement, stealth. We'll talk about it. All right, guys, I appreciate you joining. Um, I know this was impromptu with not a lot of pre-post publicity or announcement. So bear with me. I've been doing some research, had some my little birds out there giving me some information, and so I was checking, verifying everything. Pretty interesting stuff. First, not so interesting. It's right in the thumbnail, and I want to show you guys that right now. And that is another Cyrus CollabCab special. This is with Vidmart, the company putting on the Vid Summit. They make, I guess, products for content creators. So I wanted to show you this. This is not the major announcement that they kind of shoved out there secretly. I don't know if they don't want people in this space to know about it or what, but it seems odd. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I did want to show this wonderful collab cab, and thanks everybody for joining. So we've got this Vidmart collab, and the interesting thing enough is it's clearly in our midway design. Looks specifically like it might actually be based on those button colors. The same cab that's being used for the X-Men 97, because it looks like those look like the MVC2 buttons, if you ask me. Um, Zoom in a little bit on this so you guys can see the game on here. It actually says Vidmart, press start. So it looks like they've put in some sort of custom independent game developed maybe for Vidmart. I have no idea if this is actually a functional game or if this is just a splash screen before you get to MVC or something. You'll notice both screens are on this exact same thing. So could be some little game that they've stuck in there for this custom cab. It wouldn't be the first time that Arcade1up has put a unique cab on there, of course. For the Def Jam Records anniversary, they did a Def Jam cab that had one of the Def Jam video games in it. So I wanted to show that new collab cab to you guys just because we love collab cabs here on this channel. We know that that's one of Arcade1up's greatest accomplishments, and of course I am being completely facetious, but you know how we roll. And Jason says, "This is the weirdest Saturday evening ever." Yeah, Jason, I think, I was contemplating whether to go ahead and talk about this stealth announcement from Arcade1up today or wait until Saturday. And I don't think I want to wait. I think it is interesting enough that I wanted to get it out there to you guys. I know a lot of you in this channel are in this chat right now and watching this video on replay will want to take advantage of this, or at least see if you can take advantage of this. It is quite interesting, and it is a key component of Agenda 1UP. So which if you guys missed that, of course, that's all part of my campaign to be the next president and CEO of Arcade1up. Agenda 1UP. I keep saying 20 in there for some reason. Agenda 1UP is the plan to make Arcade1up great again. And one of the very first things that I called for, which is not anything unique, so stop sharing and get this next one ready, is um, how do I say this? It's a key component of free marketing for Arcade1up. It's something we've never understood why they haven't done before, why they don't do it in the right way, and that is not an affiliate program, though it does say become an Arcade1up affiliate. It is much more than that. It is the official influencer program. So Arcade1up at Vid Summit has stealth launched an actual legitimate influencer program. So I'll post the URL in the chat for those who want to actually try to sign up for this. You can see here they're kind of focusing on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. One of the most interesting things I've found is, of course, they want to know your follower count. They want to know your subscriber numbers to see if you can join this program. And we will talk about what's included in this program, what you get by being a part of this new Arcade1up influencer program, the A1up crew. So we'll talk about that in just a second, but let's talk about follower counts. And you guys can let me know, do you think this is realistic for Arcade1up in these follower count requests? So next, I want to take a moment just to stop 1 second, give a shout out to Kevin Clausen, who is throwing his $2 super chat out there. Says, I don't support this agenda, but still vote for James. So there you go. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for the super chat, Kevin. So let's take a look here at these follower counts. So the minimum category of follower counts is under 50,000. So when we ask ourselves, why is the home arcade community, specifically the ones that have supported Arcade1up throughout the last 5 years of their existence, 6 years of their existence, why haven't they reached out to anyone in this community about this new influencer program? And I think that tells you right there, if their minimum category is under 50,000, they're probably looking for people, huge channels with over 50,000 followers to be part of this program. I don't think there's anyone, and if they're out there, please forgive me, that is still in this home arcade space, specifically around these 3/4 scale cabs, that has over 50,000 followers. I could be wrong, but in general, the only bigger channels that I know that even touch on this stuff would be, Sean RGT85. He's obviously talks about it occasionally, like once a year, and it hasn't been positive in a while. Scott the Waz, again, not a positive comment. You occasionally have Radical Reggie talk about him because he collects the countercades. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Metal Jesus has one or two and occasionally has done shows on them, but not very often, like pretty rare. I mean, those guys are mainly retro games, modern video games, depending on who I'm talking about. But you can see these categories, right? Under 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 500,000, 500,000 to a million plus followers. So that's who they're looking for. Those kinds of groups, they're looking in there. And then, so here's what you get as an Arcade1up influencer. And let me increase the size here. So as part of this new influencer program, you get sneak peeks and early access. So get exclusive previews of upcoming Arcade1up games and cabinets before they are publicly released. This is how you should have been doing it forever, Arcade1up. It's nice to see you joining the modern influencer network, influencer design. So very interesting. It says content creation opportunities, create engaging content such as reviews, unboxing, and gameplay videos to share with your audience. Collaboration and partnerships, collaborate with A1up on marketing campaigns, sponsored content, and product promotions. Is Arcade1up actually going to start actually sponsoring videos? That may be interesting. Support and resources. Receive support from Arcade1up in terms of product information, technical assistance, and promotion of materials, and increased visibility. Boost your profile within gaming and retro arcade community through Arcade1up's platform and network. So that's, in a nutshell, their program, at least what's available right now. I of course, took the liberty of filling out this form. And I appreciate that, Jason. Jason dropped the link in the chat. And yeah, it's not hidden, but it is stealth. It was stealth announced, right? So I don't. It's very interesting. So I took the liberty of filling this out. Of course, I actually got a text message through this almost immediately. So it signs you up for some sort of text group. So very interesting. And look, P Dubs has dropped by. He says, at the rate some of the clients in this space are buying subscribers, they will qualify in no time. That's hilarious. But very interesting. I mean, I think this is a long time coming. Should have been a program they announced forever ago. I would be very interested in Darren Kane's thoughts. I wonder how much of this came directly from his proposal years ago when he was at Arcade1up, or is this something somebody there new has finally started? I mean, you can see it makes me wonder if some of this has been out there for a long time. Very, very interesting. But I wanted to get it out to you guys because I think it's, like I said, it's out there live now at Vid Summit. They have signs up with QR codes. That's how I got the link to this, was from somebody there. And so, you know, it is interesting that in their setup out there that they are pushing this to all the YouTubers out at Vid Summit. And of course, any other content creators are out there. And again, obviously, I think that's a big miss that Arcade1up is missing right now, is not to have a real influencer program that they can use to actually like get information to people in a responsible way, just like every other gaming company on the planet. It's, you know, not a huge deal. I still wonder with those categories if you know, who they're hoping will sign up for this program. Because again, you know, you got to have 50K plus. That's going to take some doing in this community. And maybe they figure they don't need to do anything for this community because they already have this community. And that's you know, probably not wrong entirely there, right? But very interesting. And again, I want to thank everybody for jumping in. It's not going to be a long one. I wanted to share that. I'm working on a few other things for this weekend. A lot of interesting gaming news this week. So probably cover a lot of that this weekend. And I promise there will not be any X-Men pinball chat. Plenty of that going out today. So hat tip to everybody doing that. Pretty interesting stuff. P-Dub says yes, yeah, P-Dubs. The very top option says less than 50,000. My point being that that's what they're looking at, like that they grouped it in under 50,000 and then 50 to 100, 100 to 500. So they're looking at really high channels, right? When they are lumping in 50 and under as like kind of the lowest category or lowest volume. Doesn't mean they'll say no to people with under 50 by any means. I just find it interesting that that's their first cutoff level, as opposed to doing something like maybe, you know, 0 to 5,000, up to 25, up to 50. But, you know, maybe they only wanted 5 or 6 options in there. Who knows? I just found that's really interesting given the size of the channels in this space that basically is everybody, you know. Stupid Fat Hobbit says another board meeting where Cyrus throws a dart at a board and comes up with an idea that no one asked for. P-Dub says, oh yeah, it makes sense they find channels with, oh, absolutely. You're going to, you want the big channels. Of course they want the big channels. And here's Darren Kane. Quality, not quantity. So Darren, I'm glad you dropped in. I got to know, given the verbiage on here, is this from your proposal to Arcade1up, or is this, do you think somebody else there has picked this up and run with it? I think it's I'd be very interested if to know if they took your work word for word and just are now finally implementing this thing, or what. I'm just curious from that perspective. Kevin Kloss says, if you're under 50,000, just get an email. If you got more than 500,000, you'll get a free cab or something. Yeah. I mean, there's who knows what all's involved there. Yeah, I imagine the big channels would get whatever's involved there. The question then becomes, are they actually going to make us stuff for to distribute to people? Degan says, in other words, dubs means you don't have influence. That is correct, sir. I never I never said otherwise. Um, but yeah, so very interesting. So I can imagine, based on who's in the chat, there's a lot of people that have already submitted these forms. And Darren says, no, not mine. Someone else did this for the affiliate program. I did much more groundwork on a DTC loyalty program. Very cool. Yeah, Carlos Cat is signing up. The #1 Arcade1up YouTuber on the planet is, of course, Carlos Cat. Everybody knows this. And I can imagine there's a couple guys that run a show every once in a while that have a lot to say. I bet they're the first ones that sign up for this. 19K Fox says that this only matters if they have something to show off. Wonder what's in the kitchen. That's exactly right. Right? They why launch this if you don't have anything exciting or really worthwhile to talk about coming out around the corner, right? So makes you wonder, like, you put this much effort in, if we actually do have something coming, whether that's CES or whatever. Steve says, yeah, maybe the small channels will get a sticker or a magnet. Yeah, or maybe they'll give some merch or a hat or something. That would be great. You'll get an email every time they secure $20 million credit. I love it, Kevin. Love it. And Dubs agrees with Fox. Seems like CES is when they're going to try again. That is what it sounds like. And here they are laying the groundwork to have influencers ready for whatever that announcement is. So maybe rumors of their demise are greatly exaggerated. Who knows? But very interesting. And, as Michael B says, 19K Fox isn't going to sign up for this because Arcade1up bad. But if this was a Media 1UP affiliate program, John D. good, right? Yeah, to say the least. Some of the other news we're going to talk about this weekend, aside from the biggest failure in AAA gaming history, I don't think people realize how monumental this failure is. I think some people do, but a lot of people, this might be going under the radar with the failure of Concord. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the new retro GameStop locations. What does that mean for retro gaming, and specifically retro gaming companies who have been worried that GameStop will get back into this space? And we'll provide some of the new updates to the Think Up lawsuits, plural, because we have, of course, in the community, you guys can get a preview of that, but we have an update both in the old New Jersey case and in the new one. So that'll be coming this weekend. So give you guys something to look forward to. Fox signed up on his other channel, 19K Fox +1. Oh, yes, John D. Good. Yes, Mr. Beast is the keynote speaker at Vid Summit this year. I actually wondered if he will actually show up. Obviously, he's under a lot of heat right now for a lot of different things. So I assume by now the keynote's probably happened and he did show up, but I haven't heard anything on that front. But pretty crazy stuff. Kevin Clausen, 19K Fox's biggest fan, says 19K Fox channel is toxic. I'm on my 4th mortgage now. Darren Kane says too little, too late. That's probably the case. Makes you wonder, right? Obviously, this has been in the planning for more than a few days, right? They have signage, they have all this stuff up to do this. They already have everything in place. So this has been something they've been getting ready to launch at some point for quite some time. But I can't help but notice the timing with Media 1UP, right? Media 1UP does their little thing over the weekend, showing their new promo video on Labor Day, getting ready to get people hyped for what John D's got going. And here's Arcade1up showing up out of the blue to Vid Summit with their fancy new collab cabs and this new influencer program getting kicked off. Good question. Is Travis running this? Does he still work with them at all? That is a very good question, P-Dubs. I would guess he is probably not really doing anything with them, but I don't know that for sure. So that's just an opinion out of my ass, where most of my opinions come from. But yeah, it would be interesting to know. Um, he certainly could have been pushing that way for some time, but it seems like he's been even more quiet than any, and saying he basically only talks to them when they talk to him, especially after his whatever blow up happened with the beta test group. 19K Fox or 19K Fox one upper. There you go. Even Travis doesn't meet their influence criteria. KFB says, I'm buying it. You're buying the CollabCab, or are you buying an influencer program? This cashed, Travis cashed in his 401k from Arcade1up and got $4.01 for his contribution. I'd be surprised if he didn't owe them $4.01 for their 401k. Jason says, A1up needs a new web dev. It's currently open to certain injection vulnerabilities, and I was mean I'd stick Qbert or MK4 on the front page. That's hilarious. Maybe that's why we kept getting all those ads. Maybe somebody was doing all that. Arcade1up needs a total reboot with all new cabs. Biggie D, elaborate on the hacking. I would not recommend doing that. You can get in a lot of trouble. You should get that X-Men pinball, sell all your stuff, and get it. No, unfortunately, unless somebody just gives me a real pinball machine, unless it's an older one, I will never own one, because I just can't make the math work in my head. And more power to all the guys that have them and love them. They are certainly fun. I like playing them. But when I do the dollar comparison and I look at it and say, I got to play this table 12,000 times to get my money out of it, and I realize that I don't play any game 12,000 times, I don't care what it is, I just know it would be cheaper for me to just go to a local place and play. We certainly have a lot of places that have Stern out here. Unsafe work conditions. Zero says they gave free one-ups to, I have no idea how to pronounce that, and his crew, and they smashed him to pieces. Yes, they did. James is vetting the applicants. Confirmed. Absolutely. I'm in charge. Once I'm the next president and CEO, I will vet them all. Kevin says Travis' reputation took a hit, in my opinion. He promised so many things. I agree. You know, got a lot of big talk when he came in, and then it kind of all went away and kind of pulled the company line. And I don't think that's fully on him. I think he anticipated Arcade1up having their year of XL and having all those cabs coming out, right? And they talked a big game to him, and then in reality, they didn't do anything all year. And what's he supposed to talk about? If it was me, I'd give all of you guys affiliate links. Arcade1up. Let's see. Sandman says, and I'm going to pronounce it that way, whether you want it pronounced that way or not. Sandman says, Arcade1up is scrambling. They need reboot and stability and consistency to win back the community. There are only so many Pac-Mans and golden tees you can hand out to Gen Z clout chasers. Yep. Yeah, I think P-Dubs nails it right there, right? I don't think they want anything to do with us. That to me is the biggest message you can probably take from this announcement. They go to VidCon knowing they have a pretty vibrant YouTube community already that actively talks about their products. Even if that community has been frustrated for the last year and talked about, you know, financial statements and lawsuits and kind of crapped on some of the things they've done. They've done that because they want to see them doing more, because they like their products in the end. They find them interesting and nostalgic, and they want to talk about them, and they want to be excited about the company again, like they were when they first discovered Arcade1up, and they've been disappointed by that. And so, uh, does Arcade1up just ignore them? I think that's what you're seeing here. Why is the first announcement of this new influencer program there? And why didn't they proactively say reach out to some of their bigger people in this space that they know and love, just to say, hey, this is coming, or hey, we've launched this, tell people about it, or we want you guys to sign up. Maybe they did, maybe they already signed up and they're all under NDAs. I guess we'll leave that for those other channels to speculate about. Pinballs are for rich people. Yeah, it's or people that spend their money specifically on that stuff. Lord knows if I, you know, my my retro game collection back here, I keep it cataloged and stuff. I could buy several pinball tables with that. I like this stuff better. Everybody likes what they like. I got no beef with people that like pinball. They buy that stuff. I buy this useless cardboard that I can play on DLC. I got a bunch of cardboard with plastic things in it that I rarely ever take out because I can play it off of another system, or I have some other way to play it. But I like the stuff. It makes me feel like, as a kid, had all this stuff when I was growing up. So we all have our vices and we all enjoy what we enjoy. I don't want to take that away from anybody. I like playing virtual pinball. It's cost wise, it's a lot less expensive. This might mean they have something new to announce and new people to help them. Yeah. I think, they've kind of shown to me, Biggie, for a while, if you pay attention to their TikTok videos or their Instagram reels, they really love to try to clout chase. So they really love it when some celebrity, YouTube or otherwise, is around their product. They really buy into that. If I just have this one celebrity talk about my stuff, whether that was product placement with Kanye West, if you guys remember that, that ridiculous stunt when Kanye was at his most controversial point in his career. Horrible decision there. Whether that's going to the raceways or bringing in the Shaq and the NFL guys, or having rappers come play this stuff, or various TikTokers that might have it in the background. They love to do that. They love to have influencers that maybe have one in their room, and they'll clip portions out of their videos that show them in the background. The funny things is when they even do that to a video that goes on to really talk crap about their product, but they'll cut out the section to make it look like, oh, look, they have our stuff, but then they'll ignore what came next. That's very interesting. Like specifically that video you were talking about where they smashed the Arcade1ups, right? Arcade1up actually put that video out, cut where it just had them in there, and they're like, oh, wow. And they completely left off the part where they take bats and things and start beating the hell out of them. So it's super, super interesting. One Up had Shaq, Deion Sanders, Eugene Jarvis, and some of the biggest licenses ever. What with 100,000 sub channel do that they couldn't stop flushing money down the toilet, Cyrus. Well said. Stupid Had a Hobbit says, just like home consoles put arcades out of business back in the day, Media 1UP, which I believe will be retro console ports added to a multicade, will put Arcade1up out of business. I couldn't convince myself to spend $10K when I live so close to Galloping Ghost. Oh yeah, hell no. Biggie says, going to Galloping Ghost the Saturday and Sunday of Pinball Expo. And Dre says, hey guys. So no need to belabor this. Love just talking to you guys. Really, that was the big stealth announcement, the new influencer program. Of course, that link is in the chat. I will post it after this video has ended to the comments and pin it to the top and add it to the description for anybody who missed it and is watching this on replay. so that you can access that if you're interested in signing up. I would imagine it's just like all the other influencer programs, whether that's Ubisoft or some at games or New Wave Toys, all these other ones that people do. You'll reach out. Hopefully, you'll hear from them. If you hear nothing, I guess that's our answer. And Kevin Claus says, "You ask for our votes, but you never wear a suit." Kevin, I've addressed this before. You know why I don't wear a suit? Why I don't put a tie on? Because I don't have to fucking wear a tie. That's the kind of CEO I am. So there you go. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for the support. And remember, everybody, make Arcade1up great again. Oh, and we got Doug Dog flying in, says, "Hey, James, any word on what cabs Arcade1up may re-release? I'm hoping for a Star Wars release or even a new form factor because that's the one cab I missed and still really want." No idea what they may be coming out with. I wish I did. I think we all did. Maybe they'll tell whoever these influencers are going to be. I guess that big Illuminati group can now be officially a real group again, and graduate to a full-fledged influencer group. I know P-Dubs loves that term influencer, so he was probably the first guy to sign up right out of the gate. He wants to be an influencer, whether that's an at games influencer or an Arcade1up influencer. He loves to know that he is an influencer. He says it all the time. That's why we vote for James. He is not a suit and tie guy. Remember when Snoop Dogg saved Arcade? Yeah, the Shaluminati. And if P-Dubs loves anything, it's the sound of a keyboard. That too. So, his wife, he got that new Qbert tattoo, and we know how much P-Dubs loves bare feet. So I made sure to send him the good Kirby tattoo that he should be getting, and that's the Kirby with the bare feet, which is freaky and weird and right up P-Dubs' alley. That can be his official logo for the P-Dubs influencer program. I've never used that term, and no, I wouldn't sign up for this. But that's all I got today, guys. I really appreciate you dropping by for this quick impromptu, and once again, really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll drop the link for anybody that missed it. And Saturday, we're going to talk about a few things, unless something major happens over the next couple days. Again, we're going to talk about the biggest failure in AAA gaming history. We're going to talk about GameStop going retro, and some updates on the lawsuits, all that fun stuff. So, till next time, you know what to do. Have fun.